March 15th to 22nd, I went to India with a team from Canyon Hills. It was four of us. There were four guys in our team. And I didn't feel like I was particularly called to go to India. It felt more so as being obedient to a great commission that we would go out and be sent to the nations of all the worlds. What made me feel like being obedient to God was really what they explained the process to be. The first part of going on a trip would be being placed in a team and then raising support. I saw through the process of raising support, I would grow my dependence in relying on God and having faith in just being out there and asking His body and those that are not His body to provide for the trip, both through partnership and prayer and financially. So during the trip, it was a week. It took about a day together. We actually stopped in Qatar before going to Delhi, and that was my first time in a Middle Eastern country. It was very interesting. They were celebrating Ramadan, and there were a lot of pretty lights. It was cool to experience a different culture just before even getting to India. And that week we were in India, the week felt like a month. Because over there, the air is not as clean, the food is not as safe, and you're trying to learn a new language that you don't know how to speak. And a lot of what we did was we visited the missionaries and the church plants, and we learned about what it meant to be called to a different country and how they discern God's voice. And from the experience, I've prepared a song for you. I'm going to speak a bit about the song. It was inspired by one of the missionaries. He was saying how when you're in a different country, rather than operating at 100% of what you can do, like you do in the United States, because English is the primary language, you have to lower yourself to operating at something like 10 or 20% when you first get there, and then, in a year, maybe you're at 30 or 40%, and by the end of your 5 or 10 year journey, you're at like 70 or 80%, you're never quite 100% functional in a different country. And India is interesting because everyone there is like through a work visa or a student visa, so you can't just say, I'm going to spread the gospel and expect your visa to be approved. So this song is about lowering yourself to serve others. It's about, and part of it is like also how God is working in India. And another story I like to share from a missionary is that God showed up in the dreams of a Muslim woman, and through dreams, God had told her that she would eventually be broken off from her Muslim faith and that she would accept God as her true father. And the song talks about speaking through your dreams. And the last part of the song the last experience of the song I wanted to share about was this moment when we were doing a Bible study in Delhi. We were going over the book of Acts, and there was a passage about Stephen the magician. It was a passage where he had made a great name for himself, where he was cursing other people, and because he cursed other people, he was able to gain power and prominence. And the apostles visited him, and it turns out when people prayed in Jesus' name, it was enough to reverse the curses and show them to the true power of God. That event inspired the song. It's called When Your Word Sings. It's about the word of God coming alive in a way when you're overseas. Because in America we don't have witches that curse people, but in India that is such a prominent part of everyday life. Like you go through the book of Acts, that part in America, it doesn't really speak to you, but when you go to India and you learn about it, it's very well and alive, and it's very timely. It just shows how the Word of God is alive a lot of different places, even if it doesn't seem very relevant to you, it's relevant to someone else in a different part of the world. So yeah, I'll be playing the song now.